Ever heard of an outlaw grape? Well, the red Italian variety, Schioppettino, was once such a grape, where producers who planted new vineyards of it were fined or forced to rip them out. And today, we're going to figure out how this grape came to the dire predicament that it found itself in, and just how it was saved from oblivion. Hi there, this is Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world hunting for wild and scarce wines that are hard to find in the US and bring them to wine lovers across America, whether you are a consumer or a business distributor. And when we heard the story behind Schioppettino, we just had to add it to our portfolio. But let's back up a few paces first. Schioppettino is a red grape that's used to make wine in northeastern Italy, specifically Friuli, Venezia, Giulia. We've covered a lot about this grape recently and even tasted these different versions of Schioppettino in a previous video. So go check out those videos for more information. I'll have them linked below. And to not miss out on other content like that, subscribe to this channel or to our newsletter on verovino.com to get updates on the latest and greatest wines and articles and videos from Vero. Alright, Schioppettino is from an area of Friuli known as Prepotto. Nestled against its border with Slovenia, this narrow valley boasts a one-of-a-kind microclimate. Warm days, bathed in sunshine, promote ripening in the grapes, while the cool nights ensure that they retain their vibrant acidity. This delicate balance between ripeness and freshness is a key characteristic of the Schioppettino wine. And another key factor in the wine is the unique ponca soils that are made of chalky clay and sandstone, and this lends the Schioppettino its complexity and typical peppery red fruit flavors. How is it that this delicious red wine was almost ripped from the land? Well, despite Schioppettino's long history in the area, and some sources say it can be traced back as far as the 13th century, by the early 1900s it was some of the most planted vines in Friuli and Prepotto. However, the two world wars wreaked havoc on the area and upon the viticulture in the area as well, and so many farmers being called to fight, their vineyards fell into disarray. When those vineyards were later replanted, many farmers leaned towards fashionable and more hardy international varieties such as Merlot or Cabernet. And as we mentioned in our previous video all about the grape and vine Schioppettino, it requires a steady hand to guide its growing and vinification. For many, it was just easier to turn towards international varieties and forget the traditions. By the 1970s, only a few vines remained, estimated to be around 70 or so. And as new wine laws began to rework Italian vineyards, Schioppettino wasn't even mentioned in the lists of grapes allowed to be planted. And because it was not on these lists, it was not recognized as a legal variety. The local government even put a ban on its planting. Any producer who planted new Schioppettino vines would be forced to rip the vines out or pay steep fines. Some producers, like the historic Ronchi di Cialla, were able to keep their small amount of already planted and existent vines hidden and safe. And still today, in fact, they produce Schioppettino wines. But fear not, because locals rebelled, starting a Save Schioppettino campaign, and finally they were able to overturn the local government's decision and allow planting and vinification of Schioppettino once again. But now, it's time for us to meet the heroine of our story, our Schioppettino champion, Hilde Petrusa. Hilde is the second generation of three-generational women-owned winery Vigna Petrusa, and she fully took over the winery from her mother in the 90s. Hilde wanted to return to traditions, especially that of the Schioppettino grape. It was so beloved by her father and heavily missed in the family. In fact, Hilde was even a crucial part of the founding of the Association of Schioppettino Producers of Prepotto and was its first president. And with that under her belt, Hilde began replanting Schioppettino across her land, crafting the wine in a range of styles as only a native Friulian with Schioppettino in her DNA could. We tasted these 3 Schioppettinos in a previous video, so go check that out after this. But what is important to note is that Hilde's dedication to the grape has paid off in international recognition for her wines and for Vigna Petrusa. Along with Ronchi di Cialla, Vigna Petrusa and Hilde are often cited and applauded for their part in saving and excelling the reputation of Schioppettino wines. From critics such as Ian D'Agata to organizations such as Gambero Rosso and even awards in Japan, Vigna Petrusa's Schioppettinos are lauded and searched for. And you can taste these wines for yourself too by heading over to verovino.com and checking out our lineup of Vigna Petrusa Schioppettinos from the Uncorked Rinera, the classic Schioppettino di Perpoto, and the Reserva, and even the Passito per l'Anera that I don't unfortunately have here today. But all of these wines are available to be shipped across the US for consumers, and businesses can contact us for more distribution information. So thank you for joining me today. If you found this underdog tale of Schioppettino as fascinating as I did, leave a like down below. And remember to subscribe here and to our newsletter on verovino.com to stay up to date on all new wines, articles, and videos. I'll see you in the next video, and in the meantime, check out the video where we go through and taste 3 Vigna Petrusa Schioppettino wines. Bye!